Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back this hour to April 8, 1946, an episode of the Signal Oil program, the mystery crime drama, The Whistler. This episode is entitled Terror Stricken.
That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program, The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak.
Yes, friends, it's time for The Whistler. Rated by independent research, the most popular West Coast program in radio history. And remember, let every traffic signal remind you, with new Signal gasoline, you do go farther than ever. Look for the familiar big yellow and black circle sign that identifies those popular Signal service stations in 7 western states from Canada to Mexico. And now the Whistler's strange story, Terror Stricken.
Fear can become a terrible thing. Gangrenous, disintegrating, warping, twisting, gnawing at a man's mind until he's conscious of nothing else but its presence. That was the kind of fear that took hold of Benjamin Reynolds. And oddly enough, it was the natural outgrowth of the very thing that started him on the road to success. There was a trial, an important trial. There were big names involved, particularly the name of Andrew Miller, the accused. And at that trial, 10 years ago, young Benny Reynolds, investment clerk, just out of college, became Benjamin Reynolds, star witness for the prosecution. And he was a good witness. Investment bankers in San Francisco and Wall Street in London glanced at the headlines and commented that this time, because of Benjamin Reynolds, Andrew Miller and his crowd were washed up for good. They were right.
Order, please. Order in the court. Will the prisoner face the bench? Andrew Miller, you have been found guilty of the charge of grand larceny. I therefore sentence you to be confined within the state prison for a term of 10 years. Bailiff, remove the prisoner.
You dirty rat, Reynolds! I'll get you for this!
Yes, Benjamin, that was the big break. Overnight, you became the banker's champion, the man who almost single-handedly broke up the Miller crowd. Today, just 10 years later, you're head of the Reynolds Investment Company, a pillar of the community. It's a nice morning as you sit at the desk in your private office, looking at reports.
Yes, Mr. Reynolds.
Joan, will you send Mr. Barton in, please?
Yes, sir.
46,000 Allen account. No, that can't be right. Gross commissions chargeable. Oh, wait a minute now. I know that's wrong.
You wanted to see me, Ben?
Yes, Ralph. These figures, are you sure they're correct?
Of course, I prepared the statement myself.
Oh, well, things like this don't do my heart any good, Ralph. Sit down, will you?
Oh, sure.
I'm sure there must be a mistake somewhere.
I don't think so. But of course it's possible.
Well, suppose you recheck them, just to be sure?
Well, that's a big job. I'd have to go through all the records for the whole year again.
I wouldn't ask you if I didn't think it was important. Well, perhaps I ought to call in the Monroe Auditing Company.
No, I'll do it, Ben. No use taking on that expense.
Well, all right, if you can have it by next Monday. Otherwise, I'll have to call Monroe. I've got to have those figures for the directors' meeting.
I'll have them for you. By the way, Ben, have you seen the papers?
Yes, I glanced through them at breakfast.
Did you by any chance see this?
Guess I missed that. Among those released from state prison today is Andrew Miller, convicted 10 years ago of grand larceny in a trial that caused worldwide comment in financial circles.
Remember him?
What do you think?
I remember what he said when the judge sentenced him.
Yeah.
Does it make you a little nervous, Ben? I mean, just knowing the man is on the loose again?
Oh, I doubt very much if Andy Miller will do anything that'll send him up again. Still, you never know, do you?
No, Benjamin, you never know, do you? Andy Miller wouldn't think of making good on his promise. Or would he? Somehow you can't concentrate. Find yourself thinking about it, wondering, walking to the water cooler in the corner of your office every 5 minutes, wiping perspiration from your forehead until your handkerchief is soggy. And the next morning, it's worse as you answer your morning mail.
Your order for 100 shares of Consolidated Power and Light at the market, thereby acknowledged, and... Say, that was Consolidated, wasn't it?
I think it was Southern California Edison.
Oh, yes. Make it Edison, then. And, will be executed immediately. Very truly yours. Let's see. We took care of McDonald. And, what's this? You rat. I'll get you, and don't forget it. What? He had the nerve to sign it.
What's the matter?
Where's the envelope to this thing?
Why, Vera takes them off. And...
Get Vera in here right away.
Well, she's out on an errand for Mr. Barton.
All right, then get Barton.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget it. Andrew Miller. Of all the crust.
Is that for me, Ben?
Yes. Take a look at this.
Same words he used at the trial. That guy must be crazy. He signed it himself.
What do you make of it?
I don't know.
Didn't lose any time, did he?
I think he's trying to bluff you. Or maybe he didn't write it.
Oh, he wrote it all right.
I don't know. It's pretty fantastic after 10 years. But in view of the threatening tone, I'd certainly check to see if it's genuine.
Yes. Yes?
Vera's here, Mr. Reynolds.
Send her in, please. Well, we'll see what she knows about it.
You want to see me, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Vera, did you notice this letter in the morning mail?
Well, I don't read the mail, Mr. Reynolds. I just open it and put it on your desk.
I've instructed them not to read company mail, Ben.
Oh, of course.
Well, I might remember if I saw the envelope. Yes, Mr. Reynolds.
Have the wastebasket containing the envelopes from today's mail brought into my office, will you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Reynolds. The janitor emptied all the wastebaskets an hour ago.
Oh, very well.
What are you going to do now?
Well, I guess there's nothing I can do but call the police.
April 8th, 1946, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of the Signal Oil program, The Whistler, April 8th, 1946.
Benjamin, there was a price tag on that testimony you delivered so efficiently at the trial of Andrew Miller 10 years ago, and you're beginning to pay for it now. The police don't help much. All you can do is swear out a warrant for Miller's arrest and leave the rest up to them. They can't do a thing about that weak heart of yours, stop it from pounding every time someone comes to the door, and they can't bring your appetite back or help you to sleep at night. It's later than usual when you arrive at the office next day. Ralph Barton's busy on the books as you go into your office. Hang up your hat and go over to the water cooler for a drink.
I guess I...
Help! Help! Yes, Mr. Reynolds. Reynolds, find him. Oh, Mr. Reynolds. Vera, Dr. Crane's in the next office. Get him, hurry. Oh, yes, sure, right away.
What's going on here? Mr. Reynolds, what's happened?
He came in when he called for help.
Get a doctor.
Vera's already gone for one.
What's keeping her? There's a doctor right down the hall.
She should be back in a minute.
That isn't soon enough.
Oh, but it takes some time.
Don't you realize every second counts?
Oh, here she comes now.
Right in here, Dr. Crane.
Stand back. Stand back, please.
Yes, give him room. Doctor, is it serious?
Can't tell yet. Looks very much like some form of poisoning.
Well, that was a close call, wasn't it, Benjamin? When you leave the hospital that night, you're still weak. Positive now that Miller means business. The police report that afternoon. Poison in the water cooler, just enough to knock a man out. No fingerprints. No way of knowing how Miller could have entered the office without being seen. Nothing they can tell you except to carry on as usual. For the next 2 days, you find yourself waiting for it. Tense, expectant, but nothing happens. And you begin to relax a little, to believe what the police lieutenant said about Miller being too smart to try it again. Perhaps they're right, Benjamin. Perhaps what you need is a change, a dinner out with your wife, Sally, at a restaurant on 6th Street.
Ben, dear. Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sally. I was thinking.
Oh, please try and forget it, darling. Oh, the whole thing's ridiculous. The man wouldn't have to take a chance like that. Oh, there must have been a mistake at the bottling company or something.
Of course, dear. Now let's forget it, huh?
But you're as fidgety as a cat.
No, I'm not. But I am hungry.
Ben, do you mean it?
Of course I do. Why?
Oh, because you've hardly touched your meals the last few days.
Oh, well, let's order, huh? I'm starved. Well, what'll we start with?
Well, what about a shrimp cocktail?
Wonderful. Then mixed green salad?
And a sirloin for 2.
Medium rare.
Oh, Ben, darling. Oh, darling, are you all right?
I'm the manager. You hurt?
No, I'm all right. It missed me. See there in the wall?
Good Lord. Well, I don't know how.
Who did it?
Oh, I don't know, sir. It came from over there somewhere.
Well, don't stand there with your mouth open. Call the police.
Oh, of course, right away.
Come on. Come on, Sally. Let's get out of here.
Of course, darling.
Well, whoever fired that shot meant business, didn't he, Benjamin? Your heart's pounding like a trip hammer again as you walk out of the nightclub. The hole in the wall was 6 inches from your head, and that's awfully close. Your heart almost stopped, didn't it? You're terror-stricken. You jump at every sound. And then you wonder why Miller doesn't come right out and kill you. But you remember he's had 10 long years to plan his revenge. No, sudden death would be too easy. He wants to make you suffer. Of course, sleep is out of the question. Even the powders the doctor gave you have little effect on your frenzied nerves. You imagine all kinds of things as you lie there in bed.
Ben.
Yes?
Ben, why is he trying to kill you?
Please, Sally, let's not
Well,
talk about
first the poison water and the trip to the hospital, then that shot tonight.
it. Yeah.
Oh, but Ben, the police will catch him soon. He can't...
I just hope it's soon enough.
Oh, that's the door. I wonder who in the world... Oh, no, lie still, darling. I'll get it.
No, I'll get it. Yeah.
Hold your horses. I'm coming.
Oh. What do you want?
What do I want?
Yes, that's what I said. What do you want?
I'm calling for the remains of the dear departed.
Are you drunk?
No, I don't think so.
Now, look, it's cold here at the door. Hurry and state your business, please.
I did. I was sent to call for the mortal remains of...
Man alive, will you talk sense? I haven't time for foolishness.
This is 1620 Runyon Avenue, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Then it's the right place.
Who sent you, anyway?
The Gold Hills Mortuary. Now, do you understand?
No, I don't. There must be some mistake.
The party on the phone was very explicit. He said 1620 Runyon Avenue, the remains of the late Benjamin Reynolds.
That's not funny, mister. I'm Benjamin Reynolds.
Oh.
Now, get out. Get out of the body of Benjamin Reynolds. We'll give you a very black eye. Oh. What's going to happen next?
How much more can you stand, Benjamin, before your heart gives out completely? You can't eat. You can't sleep. You almost jump out of your skin at the slightest sound. Miller is getting his revenge. He must be enjoying it immensely. Sally makes you rest all day Sunday, but you're still befuddled. You can't even talk straight anymore. You stutter. Monday morning, you decide to walk to the office. You want to try to think. Yes, that's it. Walk and try to think. Look out!
Officer! That blue sedan tried to run this man down!
Hey! What's going on?
The guy in the blue sedan tried to run over this man!
Are you hurt, mister?
No. I'm all right.
The devil you say. You're shaking like a leaf.
Soon as my nerves quiet down.
Them that saw it seemed to think it was a deliberate attempt to kill you.
Yes, I think so, too.
Any idea who might be trying to kill you?
Sure. Andy Miller.
Okay. Now I got to make a report of this. What's your name?
Benjamin Reynolds.
Benjamin Reynolds. Oh, you better see a doctor, Mr. Reynolds. You're in bad shape.
I'll be all right.
I better send you home in a cab. You're in no condition to walk.
Another close call, and you're scared almost to death, aren't you? You wonder how much longer your heart will be able to stand it. Not much longer now. You tremble so violently you can't even light a cigarette. Even at home, you can't sit still. You pace the floor back and forth all day long until finally night comes. You can't sleep. You toss and turn. Yes, the days are bad, but the nights are filled with terror.
Who's there?
Bendy.
I said, who's there?
Oh, it was nothing, honey.
What's that? What's that?
Oh, stop it.
Who are you? Why don't you answer?
Oh, it's only the shutter. Oh, Ben, don't be so jumpy.
Yes, of course. Oh, only the shutter.
It was only the shutter, wasn't it, Ben? But all the noises in the night have a sinister meaning, haven't they? After what seems like hours, exhaustion finally takes over, and you've just fallen asleep when...
Who's at the door at this hour?
Ben, dear, don't be frightened, darling. It's not the door, it's the phone.
Oh, the phone.
Yes.
Who the devil can that be? I'll give them a piece of my mind. Hello.
Is this Benjamin Reynolds?
Yes, it is. What's the big idea of calling me at this hour of the night?
Don't you know?
No, and I don't care.
Oh, yes, you do. You got a letter the other day, remember?
Andrew Miller.
Why, how'd you guess? I'm going to get you, remember?
Say, wait a minute.
You haven't much time left to live,
Wait.
Reynolds. It's coming tomorrow.
But, hello? Oh, hung up.
Operator.
Trace that call, quick, please.
What is your number?
Morningside 1024. On hurry, please.
1 moment, please.
Oh, hurry.
What number did you call?
I didn't call any number. They called me.
Do you know the other party's number?
No, I don't. That's why I asked you to trace the call. Please hurry.
There is no one connected with your number now.
I know. They hung up. Can't you hurry? I want to trace the call that was connected with his phone. Please.
I'm sorry, but after the other party has hung up, it is impossible to trace the call.
Oh, very well. Sir, I wonder if my hunch...
But wondering about your hunch is going to have to wait till after the bottom of the hour break. April 8th, 1946, the Whistler primarily heard on the West Coast, although it did have a couple of summer runs in the East Coast, not sponsored by Signal Gasoline, because Signal was only sold on the West Coast of the United States, you see. The conclusion of the Whistler follows these important messages from your favorite radio station. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Whistler. April 8th, 1946, terror-stricken.
I wonder if my hunch... Let's see.
Hello?
Hello, Barton. This is Reynolds.
What the deuce makes you call me at this time of the night?
Barton. Andrew Miller called. He said I haven't much time to live.
Is that so?
Yes, and I'm at my wit's end. What can I do? He's coming here, Ralph. Lord knows what he'll do to me.
What do you mean he's coming there?
Well, he just told me.
You can't take this much longer, Ben. Why don't you call the police?
Well, I've called the police a dozen times. I tell you, Miller's too clever for them, Ralph.
Then there's only one thing to do. Get out.
Well, yes, but he'd follow me. He knows where...
He hasn't checked me. Now, look, it's out of the question for you to stay there under the circumstances. I'll be over in the morning, and we'll go up to my cabin for a few days. You've got to get a complete rest.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Ralph. I've simply got to...
And listen, there's someone tipping that guy off on your movements. This time, make sure. Don't tell anyone where you're going.
Well, yes, but what about Sally?
Tell her you're off on a business trip or something. Yeah, that's it. The convention starts tomorrow in Cedar City. If necessary, you can call her later from the cabin.
Yeah. All right, Ralph.
I'll pick you up in front of the signal station at Runyon and Broadmoor tomorrow morning at 8, right?
Right. How much farther, Ralph?
About 14 miles.
Hey, the old heart's banging away again. Doctor said 6,000 feet was my limit, you know.
Well, we'll stay pretty well under that, boy.
Oh, good.
Boy, look at that view. You can see all the way back to...
What's the matter?
So that's strange. There's that car again. You don't suppose he's following us, do you?
Oh, probably one of the natives.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. You don't think Miller...
You're sure you didn't tell anyone where you were going?
Positive. I will have to call Sally later, though.
Yeah, sure. Hey, here's the spot where I always stop. You can get a good view clear back to the valley. How about it?
Oh, great.
Up this way.
Yes, kind of steep. I better take it easy.
Now, there's a level spot up here at the top.
Well, you go ahead, Ralph. I gotta watch myself in this altitude. Get that air. You know, this is what I needed. Mountain air, sunshine, quiet. Hey, where are you?
Up here. Come on.
This is a real inspiration, Ralph. How'd you think of it?
You mean this?
Whew. I mean getting away from everything like this. One sniff of that air, and a fella forgets he ever had any worries.
And look over here.
Hey, now, take it easy. Kind of close to that edge, you know.
Look, Ben. 1,500 feet, straight down.
Yeah, I'd just as soon stay back here if you don't mind.
What's the matter, Ben? Afraid?
No, just sensible, that's all. You know, funny thing about me in high places, it seems
You ought to be afraid, Ben. That's where you're going. 1,500 feet straight down.
What? Well, that's good, 50. You're serious, aren't you?
I'd hate to have you call in the auditors, Ben.
I was afraid that was it. There was something wrong with those figures.
Yes, there was. But I learned something from Andy Miller. You're not going to be around to testify. You're going to have a dizzy spell. And they're going to find you 1,500 feet down there on those rocks.
Well, Benjamin, you seem to be in a tight spot. Just the two of you there, alone at the top of the cliff. Barton, staring at you, white-faced and tense, his fists clenched at his sides. And oddly, you find yourself struggling to keep the smile inside you from showing on your face. It's probably only a few seconds, but it seems like an hour that the two of you stand there silent. Then...
Listen, Ralph. You hear that?
The car?
Yes.
They won't stop.
Sure he will. That's what they came for.
What do you mean?
There's a detective and 2 patrolmen in the car, Ralph. They followed us all the way from town.
You're lying.
You'd better restrain yourself for a minute and see. Of course, you could pull it off now if you wanted to, Ralph. But it'd be kind of foolish, wouldn't it? The embezzlement charge will put you away for only 4 or 5 years, with perhaps a few more for attempted murder, but if you go ahead and...
How did you know?
You did it again.
What?
That. It's a habit of yours, Ralph. Every time you're about to say something important, you clear your throat. Like that. That's why it hit me between the eyes last night when you called me and said, I'm gonna get you. Remember? Come on, Ralph. Let's walk down to the road. We'll save the policeman a few steps.
April 8th, 1946, The Whistler on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now that we've solved the Whistler's mystery here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, it's time for us to go back to, Mount Ida and see what's going on with the circus. This episode of Lum and Abner, provided by Ted at RadioMemories.com, was originally broadcast April 8th, 1935, and mystery is a-brewin'.
Howdy, everybody. Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Lum and Abner are now traveling with their circus. They had a very successful Saturday and Sunday at Charleston, and today we find them in the little city of Mount Ida. As we look in on the old fellows today, Lum is spending most of his time with Zenora, the Bareback Rider, with whom he has become very fascinated. Abner and Cedric Weehunt are sitting in the circus wagon, which they are using for office and headquarters of the circus. Listen.
Oh, it's the disgustingest thing I ever seen. He's got old Lum so crazy about it, he don't know his right name right now.
Yes, Mom. I thought Mr. Lum was in love with Miss Evelina Schultz, the school teacher over at Pine Ridge.
Oh, he don't know who he is in love with, Cedric.
I know him and her's been keeping company pretty steady.
Yeah, I know they have. But this Bareback Rider just swept him clean off on his feet. He'll do anything that she tells him to, regardless of what it is.
She's got him looking after the horses for her now.
She had.
He spent about half his time around there curry-combing them and brushing them and all that, plaiting their tails and mane and all such as that.
And I wish we'd get shut of Zenora and them horses. That's what I wish. Maybe Lum would spend a little time looking after the circus then.
Well, who's supposed to be the main boss around here anyway? You or Mr. Lum or Squaw?
Well, Lum's supposed to be, but he ain't looking after things like he ought to.
No.
You know, he told Zenora that he owned the circus by himself. That's what he told her.
Yes, he told me to tell her that, too.
Makes me so dad blame mad I can't hardly stand myself. Every time I get around him and her, why, he starts to give me orders. Just to show out in front of her. That's the only reason he does it.
Yes, me, too.
Had me in there Saturday selling peanuts there in a main tent. And me a half owner in the circus, too.
Here comes Squire now.
Yeah. Well, he's disgusted with Lum, too.
I expect I better get out there and start carrying some more water for them elephants. They can drink more water than anybody I ever seen. Howdy, Mr. Squire.
Well, hello, Cedric. Whereabouts is Abner?
He's on inside the wagon there.
Yeah, come on in, Squire.
Oh, well, I couldn't see you in there, Abner. I've been looking for you. I want to have a little talk with you.
Yeah, well, just sit down and make yourself at home. Make yourself comfort, Squire.
Whereabouts is Lum?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I just might not bet that he's with Zenora wherever she's at.
Yeah. Yes, it looks like that Zenora is taking up might now all of Lum's time.
Oh, that's all he talks about. Zenora this and Zenora that. I'm so tired of hearing it, I wished I was deep.
Well, now, here it is, Abner. It's might nigh time to open up the box office, start selling tickets, and nobody's out there to sell them.
Well, I'll go find him in a minute and send him around there.
Abner, I don't like to complain about the way things is going, but now, if Lum's going to manage a show, I do wish that he'd attend to it. That's the reason that I wanted you and him to travel with the show, was so you could take part of the responsibilities off of me. But the way things are now, why, Lum's no help at all. He's got that Bareback Rider on his mind.
Does it look like we're going to have much of a crowd this afternoon?
Oh, yes. There's a big crowd around there. Ought to do well here in Mount Ida. Ought to do awful well. If we can just get Lum to pay attention to business. Why, you fellas stand a chance to make some money with this show, Abner. It's the show of the world. We done a good business there at Belleville, and yesterday and the day before there at Charleston was both good days, too.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a big business now. If we could just get any money ahead, well, we'd be all right.
Well, of course, I'm not handling that end of it now, Abner. I don't know how you're coming out, but you ought to be clearing some money, though.
Well, Lum spends it as fast as it comes in. Like them new posters that he got out.
Yes, well, I believe that he made a mistake there. He's giving Zenora and her bareback riding act top billing over all the other acts. The wild animal act and the elephant act ought to be featured in the billing, you know. That'll get more people than anything.
Well, she more than likely put him up to that herself. That picture of her standing there on the back of a horse. He never said, but I know in reading it that costs a side of money to get them things printed up or drawn or whatever it is they do to them.
Oh, yes, those things cost money, Abner. They sure do.
And I never seen no reason for him having his picture put on them posters neither. He ain't no attraction that I know of.
Well, I believe now, there comes Lum now, Abner.
Oh, he'd do anything she tells him to. Makes me so dad blame mad I can't hardly stand it at all.
Yes, I know, Abner. I sympathize with you on it, but you know a man in love like Lum, why, there just ain't no arguing with him at all.
Well, gentlemen.
You're supposed to be out front there selling tickets, Lum.
Why, it ain't time. Well, I'll swan to goodness. The time just flies by, looks like.
Yes, there's a big crowd around there waiting to get in the tent, Lum.
Well, sir, I'm glad I found you fellas together. I've got a great idea I want to talk over with you.
Yeah, some other way of spending some money, I reckon.
Well, it'll cost a little something, but it'll be worth it.
What's that, Lum? What have we got in mind?
Well, I was just back there thinking to myself a while ago, sort of talking with Zenora. You know them horses Zenora rides?
Goodness sakes, I figured it'd be something about her, that...
Now, wait a minute. You ain't heard what I got to say yet. It's got to where I can't mention her name without you getting mad about it.
Well, that's all you talk about, Lum, is Zenora.
Well,
Zenora.
The trouble with you is you just don't know her, Abner. Don't know what a fine little woman she is.
Well, what is she started to tell about, Lum?
Oh, yeah. Why, well, you know, Zenora knows the show business. Have you ever just sat right down and talked to her, just right straight from the shoulder?
Well, I know she's old-timer in the game, Lum. She's been in this business a long time, yes.
Well, I wouldn't say a long time. You know, she ain't but 18-year-old.
Well,
she told me that herself.
Yes. Well, that's to be seen, Lum. I don't know. You know, they never do run her age up as high as it ought to be, but she ain't no spring chicken, I'll tell you that.
Oh, she's pretty. Prettiest little thing I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but she'll never see 18 again, neither. Don't never let her fool you on that.
Well, that ain't what I started to tell you about. What I want to talk to you fellas about is some new harness for them horses.
New harness?
Yeah.
What's the matter with the harness they got?
Well, of course, it's getting kind of old, Abner. I was talking to her, and she sort of sided in with me on it. It'd be a good idea to get some silver harness for them horses.
Some silver harness?
Yeah, with jewels in it.
Oh,
diamonds and stuff like that.
Well, Lum, now, the only time that she uses any harness to speak of is in the parade, you know. And
that's what I say. Now, just think how nice that'd look in the parade.
Well, yes, it'd look nice, Lum, but now you get to buying that harness like that and putting jewels in it, now that runs up into a lot of money.
Well, I just allowed as long as they're going to put up them big electric signs over the tent and all about,
Going to put up what?
Oh, that's right. I ain't told you about that,
No, I reckon not.
Me and her's going to rig up some big electric signs to put up over the tent.
What kind of signs, Lum?
Oh, Zenora, the Bareback Rider, and stuff like that.
Well, now, Lum, now, just a minute now. Just seems to me like that you're spending too much time building Zenora now. Them elephants and that lion act there, that'll get more people into the circus tent than the bareback riding act will.
Well, now, that ain't what Zenora told me.
Well, I don't care what she told you. The squire's just right about it.
Well, now, we're going to have the signs and the harness, and I don't want no argument about it. I'm just telling you what we're going to do.
Well, of course.
Stay out of here, Cedric. This ain't no place for you.
Yes, Mom. This is circus belongs to you and Abner, but if I was you now, Lum, I wouldn't be spending my money here as fast to take it in, because there's going to be times when you'll have bad weeks and you'll need some money to tide you over, you know. You got to think about that.
I've been studying about that.
Well, let's talk about that some other time. If you're going to open up a tickets office, well, you better get started. Everybody be leaving, going back home on you.
Yeah, you better get around there, Lum. I'll go along with you and start ballyhooing.
Well, I've got to get the money out of the safe here to make change with.
Well, you don't need no change, do you? Can't you make change with what you take in?
Supposing somebody pulls a $5 bill on me right to first, then what am I going to do?
Yeah, that's right. I never thought about that.
Yes, you ought to have a little change in the drawer to start out with, Lum.
Granny, that just reminds me, too. I aim to make a deposit this morning there at the bank. Take the money in there and took in Saturday and Sunday over Charleston.
Yes, oughtn't to leave too much cash around this wagon this way, Lum, or liable to get stuck up sometime.
Let's see.
Yeah, all he thinks about Zenora.
I never can recollect that combination.
Put the dial on naught and turn it to the right, clean over to 70, and then back to 20.
Yeah, back to 20.
And then to the right to 45, Lum, and then back to 70 again.
Yeah, that ought to open it.
45 and back to 70.
Yes.
There. I'll just take about $20 in change.
Well, I still don't believe you need none anyway.
Let's see. see, I put that in a shoebox. Later,
Well, what's the matter, Lum?
Hi, Granny, did one of you fellas take that money out of here?
Now, don't be looking at me, Lum. I'll never take it.
It's gone. We've been robbed, men. We've been robbed.
Huh?
We're the only ones that knows the combination on this safe. Somebody opened it up and took that money out of here. I know for...
Oh, this looks like an inside job, all right. But who took the money? This is Carlton Brickert, speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks, who now bid you all good night and good health.
Oh dear, are we going to need a detective at the circus of Lum and Abner? The originally broadcast April 8th, 1935, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And as always, our thanks to Ted at RadioMemories.com, who provides us all these great Lum and Abner programs. They are available on cassette, CD, or on flash drive for your computer, so you can transfer them to your phone or other ways. RadioMemories.com. RadioMemories.com. I always thank you for being by and ask you to thank this radio station and support their advertisers, because it is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time you roll around here on your favorite station. If you miss a day, you don't have to miss a show. All of our shows are available on demand at classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows 21 hours a week. You can learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me, find our social media links. And if you'd like to support us, you can buy me a coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee function helps us acquire additional classic radio programs and helps us keep our distribution channels up and running. That's all at classicradio.stream. And as always, tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.